What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Jokic, Embiid. Split cow! What a freaking basketball game between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Denver Nuggets. Between Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. The two best big men in basketball, and two guys that are making the case that they might be the two best players in basketball. The two guys that are leading in MVP odds this year. And it was an absolute battle from start to finish. At one point, the Denver Nuggets were up 15 points. And in the fourth quarter, the Philadelphia 76ers took it home 126-119 behind Joel Embiid finishing the game with 47 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists. On the other end, Nikola Jokic had 24 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. It was an incredible performance from Joel Embiid. Honestly, in the fourth quarter, he just got ridiculously hot and is playing basketball the way he's been playing basketball for a while. It's the reason the Philadelphia 76ers are 20-4 in their last 24 games. He's playing basketball at the highest level he's ever played it. He's leading the league in scoring at 33.4 points a game, and we got a lot to look at in this game and a lot to break down. I know a lot of you out there, Denver Nuggets fans, are frustrated with the loss. You went into a very hostile environment in Philadelphia, a city that's about to play in the NFC Championship in American football tomorrow, a city that feels like Joel Embiid was disrespected by not being picked as an all-star starter. And Philadelphia played at such a high level, and this had such a playoff atmosphere. So if you're the Denver Nuggets, I'm not freaking out about this loss at all. I think you've played basketball at such a high level all season, and today, Joel Embiid just played, at such a high level that if I'm the Nuggets, I'm not freaking out. You're going to win some and lose some against some of the best teams in the league, and that's what the Philadelphia 76ers are. They're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 2 games behind the Boston Celtics. If the Celtics lose the Lakers tonight, you're within a game and a half. The Sixers started this season really slow. We're going to get into all that here in a second. Before we start, take a second to subscribe to the channel. You see how close we are to 1,000 subscribers. Going to be so cool when we get there. Appreciate all the support. We talk hoops almost every day, every night. So take a second to subscribe to the channel. So today, the Sixers got production from Embiid. Tobias Harris played a really good second half. James Harden, DeAnthony Melton. Honestly, the unsung hero of this game is going to be Georges Niang. In the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth, hit 4 3-pointers, had 14 points. Tyrese Maxey gave him 13 points. This was a very high-scoring basketball game, went back and forth. Joel Embiid played like a man out for revenge. He was frustrated that he's come second place in the MVP the last 2 years. Frustrated that his team's got bounced in the playoffs. Frustrated that he wasn't named an all-star starter this year. Now, Joel Embiid, the thing that's so crazy about him is his skill level from anywhere on the court. And he ended the game with a step-back three-pointer that was really like such a statement moment that it was so incredible. Joel Embiid's first step is incredible off the block when he's squaring you up and he's front facing you. And his first step around the block, he had one move where he went around Jokic, went to his right, turned around, reverse slam. So much power, so much speed, so much athleticism. He truly is a freak of nature, Joel Embiid. If he's a guy that can stay healthy and can perform like this in a playoff run, he can put himself in that top 2 to 3 conversation in the NBA. It's what we haven't seen from him yet is in the playoffs to perform at the same level that we see him in the regular season. Joel Embiid is a guy who's efficient, a guy who can score from anywhere on the floor. His mid-range was deadly today. His three-point shot, how many did he hit? He hit 4 of 7 three-pointers. He was 18 of 31 from the field, 18 rebounds, 2 blocks, 3 steals. He really encapsulated everything that makes Joel Embiid so great. And he did it against who you could argue is the best player in basketball, Nikola Jokic, or one of the top 2 or 3 players in basketball, the 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic. Other than that, I love the way James Harden is playing with him. Today, James Harden had 17 points, 13 assists. He didn't take a lot of shots. You'd maybe like to see him be a little more aggressive there, but with how Embiid was cooking, James Harden just kept feeding him the basketball. And Harden has transitioned from being one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen, a guy who was averaging almost 40 points a game for, I think he finished with 36 points a game in Houston, to a guy that is second in the league in assists, a guy who's passing the basketball at such a high level. And he's really transitioned his role, and I think that highlights the greatness of James Harden, a guy who can score with the best of them, a guy who's now passing with the best of them. And he puts his teammates in position to succeed. It doesn't feel like he has a massive ego at this point. Feels like a guy that truly wants to get that monkey off his back and have a deep playoff run and perform at a high level. Now, before the season, I predicted the Philadelphia 76ers would be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I also my prediction was that Embiid would be the MVP. So far this year, the Sixers started the season really, really cold, and you started to have a lot of questions. What does this mean going forward? Does this mean Doc Rivers should move on from him? Do they need to make a major move? Maybe move on from Tobias Harris? And the thing that they kept saying in the broadcast today was they were going to see how this homestand went for the Sixers before they made any rash moves. Well, they've won 7 games in a row. In the last 15 games, they're number 2 in offensive rating in the entire NBA. So you're having a lot of guys play at a high level. And in the first half, Tobias Harris really struggled, and PJ Tucker didn't get anything going on offense. Both of those guys combined had 0 first half points. And I think when you have concerns about the Sixers, I think a lot of times it comes from consistency from Tobias Harris. And obviously, you know that PJ Tucker's just not giving you a lot on the offensive end. He's going to do a really good job on the defensive end. And I thought something that was really interesting this game, when Embiid got a couple fouls early, they switched to PJ Tucker guarding Nikola Jokic. And the versatility of PJ Tucker to guard Kevin Durant, to guard Nikola Jokic, to guard Jason Tatum, to guard all the best players on the other team is really a valuable asset, especially when it comes playoff time, especially when you're trying to keep Joel Embiid, out of foul trouble. But Tobias Harris got it cooking in the third and fourth quarter at 14 points. DeAnthony Melton gave you 13 points. Tyrese Maxey 13, and like I said, Georges Niang had 14 points. Now there was a point in the game where Niang and Shake Milton got into it on the bench, and then the Sixers got 3 technical fouls, and then the Denver Nuggets took a 15-point lead, and it felt like at that point the Sixers said, you know what? They played frustrated basketball. They played such intense basketball to finish out that game. And Georges Niang came in, hit a couple threes, and then Embiid just absolutely took it home. And that's why I said if you're the Nuggets, I'm not overly concerned. If he plays like that on a night-to-night basis, he's easily in the conversation for best player in basketball. And what we want to see, what's that next step for Embiid? We've seen him do this in the regular season. We've seen some of his stat lines be unlike any player we've ever seen. The next step is in a playoff series, in a big game, to come out and have one of these performances, because that's when we see guys take a step from really, really great player to all-time player. Giannis Antetokounmpo scoring 50 against the Phoenix Suns to win that series. LeBron James in 2011 or 12, when he was with the Miami Heat against the Boston Celtics, having 45 points in Game 6 to send them to the NBA Finals. Guys have legendary performances that take them from Kevin Durant in the finals against LeBron, take them from really great to all time. And that's what we want to see from Joel Embiid, and I really love what I'm seeing. Now, the biggest concern with the Sixers, as always, is the health of Embiid and Harden. Embiid misses a lot of games. Harden has kind of been dealing with injury for the last couple of seasons, although it's been a little better this year. If those guys can stay consistently healthy, and Harden's going to average 21.5 points, 11.1 assists, and Joel Embiid's going to average 33.4 points, 9.8 rebounds, 4.1 assists. He's on 53% from the field, and he's averaging 2.8 blocks and steals. He's getting it done everywhere. And it's really, really impressive if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan. The move for Doc Rivers to bring Tyrese Maxey off the bench, I think, was one of the best moves Doc Rivers has ever made. And I've been someone who's been critical of Doc Rivers at times, but having that hard conversation with one of your best young players, Tyrese Maxey, to say, hey, we think if you come off the bench and you can lead that second unit, then that's going to be the best chance for us to win. He still got 31 minutes tonight. He was a plus 14. He led the Sixers. Him and Embiid were both plus 14s. So he played still at a really high level. He's 13-6 off the bench is really, really quality. And I think that move by Doc Rivers could prove to be a massive move for them going forward. Now, do they make any trades at the trade deadline? It's coming up. There's going to be a lot of guys available. You do have some trade assets if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, but it'll be interesting to see if they feel confident with their team or if they try to make one last-second move to make the team just slightly better. If you could maybe get one more scorer off the bench, one more kind of forward wing kind of guy, because you have your guards a lot. Georges Niang obviously can shoot at a high level, but he's a little up and down scoring-wise. Tobias Harris, like I talked about earlier, is a little inconsistent. PJ Tucker doesn't give you a lot offensively. So, that's the next step for the Sixers. Do they try to do something like that? All in all, incredible basketball game. Embiid, I can't say enough about the guy. That was truly as dominant as you're going to get in the NBA. What a performance from him. If you're a Nuggets fan, kudos to the Sixers. Tip your cap to Joel Embiid and say, hey, today one of the best players in basketball got us. And that's really what it comes down to. That's all we got for you as far as this game goes. We're going to keep watching hoops, keep talking hoops. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Cyborg out.